Introduction. Welcome back, fellow gamers. Today I, General Melchett, will be showing you how to play Iron Warriors like a true master of ordnance, a howitzer boffin, an artillery archaeomancer. For those who do not know, the Iron Warriors are artillery fans, trench warfare enjoyers, and will siege you by throwing men at the problem until it is solved. They also enjoy the use of the holy orbital bombardment when the artillery is just out of range. The Primarch for this legion is a whiny little bitch who knows it all but has a stroppy fit when nobody recognises him. Very relatable, top pog. The most vital part of any Iron Warriors list is making sure you have enough blast stacker and enough templates for those. That being enough beans template launches to ruin the day of even the hardiest scrub. As you may or may not be aware, after you are done with your game, just like at Eep or Talon, the earth must be scorched. Scorched earth strat. Now, as you may be aware, the enemy is dead, and they cannot fight. To achieve this goal, we will use the following methods. The use of inhumane weaponry. Targeting civilians, they are heretics. Use of weapons of mass destruction. Breaking international treaties, and targeting non-militarized protected sites. And just like that, we have scored a line in the Geneva Convention bingo. In the far future, the 31st millennium, The Hague does not exist, and we cannot be convicted. Artillery. Now, to put this strategy to effective use, we must spam artillery. Unfortunately, the Medusa and Basilisk tanks have no rules due to James' workshop being a top 10 jammiest kits of all time. Now, here is the artillery tier list, that is objective and final. In S tier is the Medusa and Basilisk, which we cannot play unfortunately. In A tier is the Rapiers, then in F tier is the Arquiter. I know there's other types, but I am going to willfully ignore them. Get done, lol. Now, as you can see, we have to play the Rapiers due to James' workshop. However, to use the Chad Ironfire Rite of War, we need to play a wanky Arquiter, which is a bit cringe. So we will ignore that rule and tell anyone who is opposed to it to cry about it. Now, the Arquiter just looks derpy and has a Morbius Bombard, so I hate it. Enough said, really. Now, you should bring the Quad Mortar, as they are based on overwhelming firepower. Most of their shells are heavy 1 large blast. Or for the anti-tank shell heavy 4, which is quite good. It's very good for blasting plebs who are clumped, or blasting plebs who are in cover. Now, it's got the following shells for every occasion. Frag for general use comes by default, and then if you cough up the cash, you can get more exciting inhumane rounds. The shatter round for deleting tanks, incendiary rounds for letting napalm spread your message, and the splinter round for when cluster bombs are required. Alternatively, you can use phosphex if you're a fan of chemical warfare. Be warned, they will upset your opponent, as they are signatures of the Geneva Convention. Supporting artillery. Once the foolish fools that oppose you have stopped standing next to each other, you need a way to punish them for being out of cover. Now, the solution is obvious. More artillery. This time in the form of Iron Havocs. Wait, they got killed by James' workshop. Heavy team support squad with missile launchers, I guess. Now, these are just the box standard portable NATO issued javelins, perfect for tanks and blokes with power armor. Strategy here is simple: spam these chaps, bring a few blobs at 10, use their shad crack on thick boys and frags on plebs. Sometimes you need to score objectives to get points. Now, this is mostly when playing against illegitimate gamers. The solution is thankfully simple: tanks. Iron is strong and it can shoot back as well. The following tanks are certified to be very killy: the Kratos, Sikaran, and Spartan. Now, with your killy tanks, you need to let them to slowly walk your blokes across no man's land where they provide cover. Now, to do this, turn them sideways into Tokyo Drift. If you want to get your chums across the board fast, then put them into one of the following Chad transports: a Rhino, Land Raider, or a Spartan. Now, once you arrive at a point to hold, you must follow the following procedure. Kill anything that isn't silver. To do this, I recommend the following: a Melt Gun Support Squad, some Shatterfracty Terminators with bolt guns, Iron Havocs at home, Destroyers with hand flamers. And if that fails, more tanks and more artillery will always do the trick. Boring list construction crap. Now, you know how to punish your enemy for being in cover, and then punish them for being out of cover. Now, you must put this theory into practice by making a killy list. As you're not a coward, you'll be playing at 3000 points with the Iron Fire Rite of War. Use one of the Iron Warrior Warlord traits for 2 shooting phase reactions, and apart from that, remember to spam. What not to play? Now, the Iron Warriors have a very unique gameplay. They just blow shit up and make it the opponent's issue. Now, because of this, melee is not to be done unless you are dedicated to it. Whilst the running barrage is a good strat to get your melee dudes close, you will commit some fragging, which is not advised. As well as this, I recommend against playing with unmounted infantry, as they will have a hard time being deployed tactically. Getting unstuck. Well, if you get into a pickle as an Iron Warrior, you are clearly a fool. Now, you have logistics and enough blanks to throw the problem, meaning it's a skill issue, and there's no need to fail. But in a more serious light, if you're unable to hold objectives, then using stronger firearms could be a useful strategy, such as more melter support squads or Tyrant Siege Terminators. Dreadnoughts could also be fun for achieving area denial. James Workshop bad. Now, after this fine high quality content, I'm now legally obliged to call James Workshop wankers for removing many units and running the blessed artillery. Now, however, as the rules explicitly mentioned in Medusa and Basilisk, I think they're going to be released eventually, probably as a crappy PDF with nothing but black ink to make your printing bill expensive. But why not in the current books? It's because James Workshop, they're blaspheming bandits who will steal all your shekels and leave you in destitution. In fact, if you want to buy more Warhammer, I recommend starting an OnlyFans or prostitution. Now, as well as that, Iron Havocs were deleted because of the same reason, and we have to use the B-Tech ones instead. Cringe. Lastly, there's no Tormentor tank for Perch Robber, and that's a piss take. I think James Workshop, new recruit, Hugh Janis, has something to do with this. Thank you so much for watching my shitty video. Now, don't bother pressing the dislike button because YouTube turned it off. Instead, type your offensive shit in the comments and I probably won't read them because I don't give a fuck. You can subscribe, but I will not be uploading shit because I don't give a fuck. Now, you can share this, but I won't be receiving ad revenue because YouTube are wankers, and hence, don't give a fuck. And if you did enjoy this, then thank you. Now, you can send me money, I don't know how, just attach like a tenner to a carrier pigeon, and it will find its way to me, I'm sure. Thank you so much. Don't support me on Patreon, because I don't care. Goodbye.